Hey yo, it's been a little bit, but welcome back to the channel. We're talking some more boxing. I have two fight. Well, I don't even know if I really want to talk about the second fight. It was so boring. So I'm gonna talk about the first fight for sure. Zhang versus Joyce 2. This is one of the very few instances where the rematch goes exactly like the first one did, except even worse. To be fair, I don't think Joyce had anything left in the tank after the first fight. He sort of got exposed. His big thing when he bursted onto the scene was being able to take heavy shots. Basically eat every punch that came at him and kind of pull a George Foreman-esque type of style where he took one huge shot, but he would land a couple of his own, and normally his own power and his own chin would bail him out of really bad situations. Thing with Joyce, though, people a couple months ago, like a year ago, would have said he beat Anthony Joshua, he'd beat Wilder, he would beat, all these top 10 heavyweights, Fury, Usyk, whatever, because of his chin. Now, here's the thing about that style that Joyce has. His style is one of those styles that works until it doesn't fucking work anymore. And what I mean by that is simple. You could only rely on that chin to bail you out so many freaking times until your chin becomes washed. Well, here's going to tell you a little story. It has kind of nothing to do with the fight, but I'm going to relate it back in a sec. If you go back on the channel, actually used to box in the garage. Not like a real boxer, but we would take real good fights. You would see me training in the garage. I was real skinny back then, back when I weighed 155, before I started lifting weights. And before I bulked up and, started doing Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, whatever. Back in those days, we used to box. And I used to fight my brother. I used to fight two of my friends. Well, one of them really wasn't my friend until after the fight. We hated each other and we boxed. And another guy was a good friend of mine. And let's name the first friend Tom and the other guy Frank. So Tom and me boxed. And Tom was hard. About my size, about my stature, used to punch me in the chin all the fucking time, and I took those shots. At one point he would just land clean, but I would keep standing, and I wasn't knocked out, but I would say I was pretty fucking beat up, and obviously not 100% in my brain. And so after like 4 rounds of just him beating the shit out of me, and I didn't go down, we stopped, and he's like, I'm gonna stop before I really hurt you. I don't believe you haven't gotten down. Flash forward to Frank. Frank used to beat the shit out of me all the time. Actually, not all the time, but we had one big fight, one 12-rounder in my garage, and Frank was 100 pounds heavier at the time, and he would punch me. Thing is, Frank would only daze me. He only really hurt me twice, once to the body and once to the chin. The chin the first time after God used his power, nothing. So then eventually, after taking those 2 ass beatings, basically, me and my brother used to spar all the time. Prior to those 2 ass beatings, I could take my brother's punch pretty easily. I would not be phased, and it was pretty good. After those 2 ass beatings, my chin was gone. Like, it accumulated. To the point where my brother would land shots that used to not affect me, and he would sleep me. Like, I got slept by my brother. And I'm going to tie it all back to this story. And I'm not Joyce. I was 16 at the time and, doing stupid 16-year-old things. But Joyce is a professional boxer who his whole style is getting punched in the face and surviving and coming forward. So it was inevitable someone with skill, like Zhang, he's a good Chinese, big skilled, you know how they are over there, and powerful, knows how to set up his left hand, would come and eventually stop him. So to me, what happened in this rematch was more of the same, except Zhang knew what he could do, and so he did it faster than he did in the first fight. He set up his left hand beautifully when he knocked out Joyce in the 3rd round. He went to the body, then came to the left, and that left hand, and you can hear it on the replay. That's brutal, and Joyce was done. Thank God the ref stopped it, because he would have gotten up, Zhang would have just murdered him. So what's next for Zhang? Well, Zhang has 2 options, I think. Alexander Usyk, because he is the WBO mandatory, or Tyson Fury. And here's the thing. I don't know if Tyson Fury is going to fight real guys anymore, because he's fighting a fucking MMA guy, and he doesn't want to fight Alexander Usyk. So I don't know what his big thing is. Zhang said he almost had a deal done with Tyson, but I also think that was when Tyson still was trying to tune up for Alexander Usyk, which to this point I don't know if he's going to do. If Fury versus Zhang happens, it's a good fight, but I don't think it will. I think Zhang should fight Deontay Wilder. Twofold. One, Zhang is just a better boxer than Wilder, point blank period. You guys are crazy if you don't think otherwise. And Zhang has the power to really fuck up Wilder. Wilder hasn't fought in over a year, and Zhang could totally knock his ass out, which is pure skill and setting up that left hand. Because keep it a buck, Wilder has fought 2 people with a pulse, and one of them beat him 3 times in a row. The draw was bullshit. And then the other guy was beating him for fucking 11 rounds until he got knocked out. A 40-year-old man. And this 40-year-old man, I think, has more in the gas tank. Anyways, I'm going to segue to the next set of fights. And you know what? It's Zepada and Hitchins. Hitchins, bro, skilled. I will not take that away from him. An amazing, pure technical boxer. I can see why Floyd Mayweather originally signed him before Mayweather Promotions became a joke. You know how it is on Showtime. Most of them are jokes. It's a twofold thing here. Because Jose Zepeda had been through some wars. Rijik Prograis fucked him up pretty badly. Ivan Baranchyk was fucking up pretty badly until Zepeda came back. Hank Lundy made him look bad. And I can even argue Hank Lundy beat Zepeda, but, you know, ESPN gave him that win. So am I impressed with what Hitchins did? Somewhat, yes, because Jose Zepeda did fuck up the guy, what was his name? The one that he knocked out in one round, Josue Vargas, excuse me. And he also did pretty decent against Jose Ramirez. Here's the thing. After so many wars, it's kind of a tale of two coins. Kind of similar to what Joyce did. After getting hit so many times by huge, monstrous punchers in the 140 division, was Zepeda really there, or was he just the ghost of his former shell? I'm on the latter edge, where I think Zepeda was going to lose because he's not the same guy he was a couple years ago. And that's keeping it a buck. But it's not to discredit Hitchins. He has a beautiful jab, knows how to box well, and honestly kept Jose on the outside with just a jab and really fucked him up that way. I will criticize Hitchins on this point, though. He is boring as fuck to watch. And I honestly I couldn't. After like 3 rounds, I was just like, is this the whole fight? So then I started, you know, I'll be honest, I kind of came in and out of sleep, came back, and it was the same shit, and he did 12 rounds of the same thing. Really boxed him on the outside, made Zepeda look lame. I think that was kind of boring. Outside of that, the main card had some crazy shit with Jessica McCaskill getting a gift of the draw, which I can go in depth, but I don't think anybody wants to hear, because I'm a Chicago motherfucker. I live in Illinois. I go to Chicago every fucking other weekend. So I think it's just not fair for me to criticize that. I'll just leave it. I wanted Jess to win, but I can't criticize what I saw, because I'll get mad, and I don't want to get mad. Anyways, those are my quick thoughts on Richardson, Hitchins, Zepeda. Hitchins has a future. He's just boring as fuck to watch. He's kind of like Guillermo Rigondeaux in his prime. He's kind of like any good practical boxer. Zhang has a future. Give that motherfucker a title shot. If not, they are corrupt. You already heard me rant about the WBC. I don't need to do that here. I just wanted to get my thoughts out. Finally, subscribe. Next week, on Thursday, I'm flying out to Las Vegas. We're going to go be at Canelo versus Charlo live. We are not media, not yet, at least. But we will be there. I have an extraordinary weekend planned. I'm going to see some magic show. I'm going to see Canelo versus Charlo. And we're going to go walk on the mountains for about 10 hours. So yeah, you expect some live in-stadium content, post-fight interview, if I'm lucky enough and my battery doesn't die on me, hopefully the whole fight or a couple of rounds is going to be uploaded on here, similar to what I did for Chocolatito versus Gallo 3. And subscribe. It's only going to get better from here on out. The big fight weekend next week, and in between, maybe in line, I'll be watching the cruiserweight Thompson versus J.O. Patayab. You know, waiting for the motherfucking doors to open. But they're saying doors are going to open early so I can watch a bunch of prelim bouts that it won't be aired. So maybe I won't make a video on that. We'll see, depending on how good the fights are. Anyways, talk to you guys next week in Vegas. Hype for Canelo. Peace. Subscribe.